this is JilMac. I'm the instructor for the Community College of Vermont. My students know that they can go out and get more information from my website at JilMac.com, or they can give me a call on my phone. Okay, so today what I'm going to be going over is in Assignment 3, and this can be Assignment 3 in the Web Development class, but it can also be in the JavaScript class or in the PHP class, where we are going to be going over different menus. Now right now on Assignment 3 in Web Development, if you scroll down, it tells you that you can view the menu examples here. So if I bring those up, let me bring those up. It's going to bring us out to JAM. So this is my login. This is the server, classwebccv.edu. This is our class, Web Development, but it could be JavaScript or it could be PHP. It just happens to be that I gave that a subdirectory of Web Development. And in Web Development, I have a menu subdirectory. Now in that menu, I have an index file and it brings up this HTML. So this HTML shows us the different kinds of menus that you can have. And really a menu, or a top navigation, or a left navigation, or a footer navigation, any kind of navigation, is how you get around on the web. And so I'm going to click on this neat with left navigation. So here's a navigation that has navigation over here on the left hand side, where you can go to different assignments. You could put a logo up here. You could put header information here, and each page would have this main section. And it would also have a footer. Now if we wanted to look at the code of this, we could go over to these three dots, and some browsers it's three lines, and we could go into More Tools and the Google Developer Tools. So in the Google Developer Tools, it shows us what the index looks like. So here's that index file that we're looking at. We've got a header, so it's got a doc type of an older doc type. It's not HTML5. It's got header information. Now this header information is what is up here on this tab. So right now it says untitled document. As a lot of blank documents do, they'll say untitled. And that's why this tab says untitled. When you go into the body of this, you're going to see this sidebar 1, which is what this is over here. And it just has this unordered list of all of these links. And these links are going to these different assignments. And they're going out. Now these links happen to be old for ST-Web. I haven't updated them for the new server, and the new server would say JAM 08260 class web edu if we wanted to do that. And it would tell us where you would point for these assignments. So that's over here. So that's what this index looks like. It has a separate style sheet, and that separate style sheet is what makes this blue, what makes this a lighter blue color. And all of that is in the style sheet. And we're kind of learning about style sheets, but we can still use different menu systems without knowing absolutely everything about the CSS, because we can kind of learn about that. So I'm going to close my developer toolkit. And I'm going to go back, and now let's look at an HTML5 menu. So here's an HTML5 menu that has the left navigation. Also, it has a header and the body and the footer. So here's one, and if we go and look at More Tools and Developer Tools, we can look at our code. If I click on Index, it brings up my index. Move this over a little bit. And here it has the title of student name. Well, here is that student name. It's got a little favicon of a cow. So we have our favicon cow image right here. And that's all up in the header. And then in the body, it has the navigation. And here's the navigation where this navigation is an unordered list. And we are just going and looking at the different assignments, and that's what these links are. And then we have the section main about me, which is over here. Move this a little bit. There it is. This is about me, and it has a profile picture, and here's the picture that's being included, this nice drawing I drew. And this is just a way of creating a navigation to easily get around in your website. Now we're using, for the most part, Google Sites. And Google Sites creates all of this left navigation for you. And when we use Google Sites, we're using a menu system. So it's sort of like a CMS, a content management system, similar to our LMS, which is our learning management system, which is Moodle. You're doing things using menus. But when we're over on the class web, that's when we're learning more of the HTML, which is what our textbook has. But to kind of group all of that together, we have menu systems. So for people who are ready to have a menu system in their HTML, that have been waiting for it, we have a choice of menu systems. We also have a W3 Schools. If you wanted to learn about menus, here's one, a pull down one. And once again, you can go into the Google Developer Kit and you can look at the code. And here's a template linear. Now this one is one of those snazzy ones, right? Let me close this so we can see the whole thing. And if we make it a little bit wider, so we can see that this just has a header up here. And if we wanted the left sidebar, right sidebar, or no sidebar, maybe I've got to make this smaller to see it all. Yeah, it's at 125%. So let's make this a little bit smaller so we can see this. A left sidebar, that gives me a left sidebar, a right sidebar. Now I have a sidebar over here. No sidebar is just scrolling and there is no sidebar. So this is a linear template, and once again you can get that code if you like the way this looks. And that was the linear template. And here's suppose if you want to really understand it, here's an ugly one. And this ugly one is ugly because, and we described it in an earlier video in assignment 3, that I'm picking these colors because I want you to understand that here is the horizontal navigation, and here is a header, and here is the body of it with this blue background. And when you get down, this is the footer. And so you can see the different sections. And we went over that HTML in the previous video. Here's a W3 Schools bootstrap, so that you have here the band, the tour, you're scrolling up and down. It's pretty much a one-page, just kind of scrolling down website, but a lot of people like this look. And here's more, and you can, go to different sections of it and look at that. So those are those types of menus. And where do you get this? So in assignment 3 at the bottom, all the way at the bottom, and this is where the example to the menus are, and this is where, right here is where the video is going to be as soon as I finish recording this video. And right here is the menu zip where you can download this file by going over here and clicking the download. And once you download this file, you can open it up and you can see all of the different code, and you can extract those files. And when you extract those files, you can look at them and change them on your PC. If you want to upload it so you have a whole menu, just like I do, you can log in. And let me log in again. Let's just go to classweb.ccv. So I'm going to log out. And then if I go to classweb.ccv.edu, move this up a little bit, I'm going to log in. And let me make this a little bit smaller so we can see it. No. How about if I make this a little bit shorter? So I want you to see the whole login screen. Once I put my login in and log in Centaura, then I can scroll down to my page isn't short enough. Oops. Still gotta make it shorter. Then I can scroll down to my file management. Now if you're a little narrower, it might look like this, and you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to file management. It all depends on the size of your screen when you're looking at it. And you want to go into Elf Manager. When you go into Elf Manager, anything that's out on the web that you want to be on the web is you need to open your public directory. I happen to have all my stuff under web dev for web development, and I have this menu here now. But if I want to upload this again, if I want to upload a file to it, to my web development, I can go to File. No, that's not how I can just drag it. So let's drag it from my PC where I downloaded it. So I'm going to go to my downloads. And I'm going to sort it by today's date. There's that menu. So if I want to upload it, I just click my menu and I drag it over. And now I have that little plus copy. See how it's got a little not sign? And as soon as I get in here, I can click it and it will upload it. Let's see where it puts it. It's uploading. It takes a minute. It's a good size. And it's uploaded, so it's a zip file. And you can, to unzip it, you need to click this little extract files from the archive. And you can put it in a new folder. And I'll put it in a new folder, menu 1. And now when I double click that menu 1, I see all of this, all of these directories. And if I wanted to look at that Bootstrap one, I could double click it. And it would show me there's two different Bootstrap examples, one from W3 Schools, and that's this index. So that's the file and that's where it is. And in order to look at it, you bring it up and you would look at it in, and let me look at these together. Let me make this a little bit narrower. So here's what it looks like in Centaura, this Bootstrap. And here, I'll make this smaller so they can be side by side. I want to make it big enough so that you can see the whole URL. But if I wanted to look at this Bootstrap in menu, and this Bootstrap, so I would be in menu, which is right here, and then Bootstrap, and then W3 Schools, so I'd open that, W3 Schools. And because there's an index file, it's automatically going to come up. And this is that Bootstrap example of the band. And now I'm running this index file right here. If I was going to look at it on my PC, and I've already extracted it, so I'll go to where it is on my PC. I have it in a directory called Menu, Bootstrap, and W3 Schools Bootstrap. If I click on this in my, in my computer, this is what it looks like. And it looks like this because it's responsive. So if it's wide enough, you're going to see this. And if we make this window narrower, then the menu goes up in here. And that's a reactive or responsive Bootstrap example of a menu. But I know that I'm looking at it on my PC because it says File C. When I'm looking at a menu here, I see it as I'm out on the web server right here. I'm out on the web server. Here, when I'm looking at this same file, I'm on my computer. So here I'm on the server, and here I'm on my PC. But we're both looking at the same website. So you can look at all of those, except when you get to the PHP one, and that's a little bit different. And I'll go into that a little later. And that's how you can look at them and modify them. Instead of the band, you could have your name here. And instead of band and tour and contacts, this could be assignments, different things. And you can kind of pick your menu if you're ready. For those of you who aren't ready yet, that's fine. Or those of you who want to work with me one-on-one, I'd love to have that opportunity. But that kind of gives you an overview of how the menus work and how you can upload them to your server space. And if you have any questions, give me a call.